Welcome in, guys. We're going to be checking in on the divine masculine this week, and I feel as though the masculine, as I try to tune in, they're trying to do something profound. I feel as though divine masculine at this time, they're trying to find a way to make their own individual mark on the world. Wherever the divine masculine is at right now, they've been so overly dedicated to a karmic person trying to make their dreams come true, trying to give them a place of comfort and safety. But it's kind of gotten to the point the masculine has lost themselves in this pursuit of being benevolent to others. Wow, what do we have at the base over here? Got the card of the vampire, which I'm sure a few of you guys are like, huh, yeah, hashtag surprise, not surprised. But it says makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force versus depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. They're starting to recognize that this karmic person that they've been trying to help, it's sort of like they feel drained. They know they're drained from this karmic situation. However, they're not completely convinced as to why this is draining. It's sort of like, oh, I know it's draining, but that's just what life is supposed to be like, right? A constant drain on your energy. And so there's something about the masculines trying to challenge themselves without having to create a conflict. They could be a little bit avoidant, but let's find out. We do the card of the prostitute. Wow. Accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit versus places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. Yeah, I feel like the masculine wants to try something different where if they could just pour all of their time, energy, and money into themselves rather than being so focused on their karmic person, I think they kind of want to see what happens. What's the masculine energy at this time? We do have the poet in the reverse, which says turns a lyrical gift into a negative or destructive effect. Like this could be something as simple as the masculine's trying to, do something fun on social media. Like this doesn't have to be anything super significant. It could just be lip sync battles or trying to do poetry or trying to, for some cases, they're trying to maybe talk about something important in the world. This could be politics or opinions, maybe stuff to do with music, entertainment. And there's some motivation here. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be dollar signs. This could be likes, subscribes. Like the masculine's trying to seek out some kind of validation for their creative pursuits. What's going on the karmic side? We've got the card of the rebel. Challenges authority to effect social change, reject spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs versus rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. Like there's someone around the masculine. Maybe they're karmic, maybe they are not, but there's some sort of like interesting challenge that's going on that's kind of pushing the masculine. If this isn't a karmic person, there's something within their energy that is making the masculine want to do better, that want to grow. And this actually does feel quite nice to some degree because the masculine is recognizing that in order to grow, in order to thrive, like they need someone to challenge them. They need somebody who will be able to give them good feedback. Because I feel as though the masculine's trying to express themselves and it's been going nowhere. That's why it's showing up in its negative aspect. And they're a little bit frustrated because they know they shouldn't necessarily have to do it for attention, but attention's really nice. To some degree, I kind of don't blame the masculine. Underneath there, we do the rescuer in the reverse. So yeah, they're going back and forth right now. They're trying to suss out if what they're doing is in alignment. Like in some ways, the masculine has to fake it until they make it. And they're a little bit just accustomed to faking it and then trying to create a narrative around how they're technically making it, air quotes. And even though I know I've desked down for this particular reading, like my eyes are stinging. I just suddenly feel as though I have like ash and soot in my eyes. And there's something going on in this masculine's reality where they no longer can depend on physical sight. They are actually going through a third eye activation at this time, and the masculine's trying to learn how to reach people on a soul level rather than trying to meet them on an eye candy level. So this is pretty cool. This is a really neat start. So, I'm going to grab the Everlasting Day Tarot. I don't use this deck super duper often, but it's an AI generated deck because there's something around this person where they're trying, like they're really trying. They want to find the nice balance of, I want to express my authentic self, but I really like it if the world could hear me. And they do have people that they admire, whether they're trying to copy them or trying to use them to bounce ideas off. This doesn't even have to be someone they know. This could just be, I'm doing something on the internet and I'm studying this other person who's doing another thing on the internet. And they're trying to find some semblance of, they're trying to be muse as opposed to being amused. I know. Let's just make things really confusing right now. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and start shuffling this deck. And this is a double deck, so I think there's at least 2 sets of pips, the lower arcana deck as well. But we're going to be having a look at how the masculine feels about their current situation, especially if they're trying to find a way to self-express. We'll also see what are their feelings about their karmic, how do they feel about their feminine? And this could also, when I say how they feel about their feminine, this could just be their inner femininity. Like the whole point of a twin flame journey is to find unity back into self. And as we progress further, as I continue to work through this twin flame journey dynamic, I'm always going to be encouraging yourselves to figure out, even if you might have an external masculine, what is it about these readings that resonate internally? Because masculine energy sees things in the third person, while feminine energy sees things in the first person. So we'll also get some message from the universe, and we'll look at what actions the divine masculine might do to move forward. All of a sudden, I'm feeling very tense. And there's this little boogeyman sort of energy. We got the card of strength, and underneath that, 6 of Wands. It's, like this doesn't feel bad, but it feels very awkward. They're trying so hard to do things that make them feel uncomfortable. But in the past, when they've done things that are uncomfortable, it's because they were going against their intuition. And that's what they thought the discomfort was, as opposed to trying something different that is within their alignment. There's some kind of success that's happening on some level. Let's go ahead and cut. Such a delightfully awkward deck. And I'll probably be using this entire deck to clarify everything. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all the base cards, and then we'll dive in and get 4 of coins. Then we'll get some the clarity. Like, the masculine is starting to recognize what's working for them and what's not working for them. This actually does feel really, really nice. 6 of Pentacles. They have been working with people, trying to learn as much as they can from them. And in some ways, I don't feel like they have any kind of relationship with somebody who's successful, mostly because chances are they've exhausted all of their resources and they've exhausted all of their 3D resources that they're kind of trying to go to professionals, or they're trying to look online. They're trying to get outside of their country, outside of their language, outside of their mindset. The masculine is trying to expand their mind, and for once, I don't think they're using as many chemical processes in order to discover that. How do they feel about their situation? Got a 4 of Swords. Things feel very stagnant for the masculine. And they don't even know if they're doing the right thing, because masculine, the only way they know that things are working out for them is there's change. I do a thing and then I get a thing back. Like, they're accustomed to instant gratification, especially with the internet. We always seek out that, like, they're like, oh, we want to make sure we get as many likes as possible when something comes out. Otherwise it's gone. Like, everything feels like fruit that is, like, you can only catch it when it falls off the tree. Otherwise, it's a complete waste. It's that kind of mentality we have in the world today. How do I want to lay out these cards? Okay, fine. I'll put the 4 of Swords right here. Sorry, guys. Like, The masculine's experimenting, and apparently so am I. How do they feel about their karmic situation? King of Swords. Oh, I'd like to say that they're trying to be honest with themselves, but I think that this is more like the karmic is still uh they still have a heavy influence on this masculine's attempt to be creative. Like the masculine is stuck. They're kind of right here. Your person is you or your person. I know I gotta figure this out, guys. I'm sorry. There's a lot of confusion going on because a lot of people are entering into their own sense of unity consciousness. And when we enter into that phase, we start recognizing our own masculinity, especially if we've been accustomed to being on the feminine polarity. So I'm just going to say this is masculine. But the masculine has been stuck, stagnant, trying to find what it is that they want out of their career, out of their creativity, but they're way too dependent on a karmic person to give them feedback. This isn't quite Queen of Swords. And in some ways, this king feels silent because I feel as though the masculine has still made their karmic the audience. And the audience is somewhere out over here. Like this rebel, this person that they admire, they're having some supreme success. Like, they've been able to make their own little tree house. Like, I would love nothing more than to have a tree that I could climb up and hang out in every so often. I they figured out a way to crack the code, and masculine just wants to learn from it because that sounds amazing. But they haven't quite recognized the rebels' audience. They still are trying to make their karmic their audience. They're seeking out validation, and they're a little bit perplexed and weirded out that they're not really getting all of this excitable, fun, fuzzy feelings from the karmic. How do they feel about their feminine at this time? They actually feel a little bit, believe it or not, kind of abandoned, but it's more that so many words were exchanged. Maybe they tried to come to you for advice. Maybe the masculine tried to go to the feminine in order to get some constructive feedback. And just, I feel as though communication got lost. I'm very curious to see what will happen when we begin to clarify that. What is the overall message from the universe? 10 of Swords. So we got 10 of Blades, and we also have the 10 of Swords. There's a little bit of, yeah, you who are watching this message, you were reading the room right. Like, it's sort of as though you wouldn't kiss this masculine's ass. It's like, yes, you're doing a thing, you're doing your poetry, that's very cool, but why are you shooting doves out of your mouth when your original intention was to shoot phoenixes out of your mouth? Here, let me make the poet a little bit more of an upright poet. It's very cute. But like, the feminine gives proper constructive feedback, and a wounded masculine just seeks validation. It's like wanting mommy to always compliment them, say, oh, you did such a good job. And in some ways, like, don't get me wrong, it is nice to get that validation. Like, I personally, as Barry, certainly appreciate it. But there also comes a point where it's like, do you want to be good at what you do, or do you just want to feel good and have someone kiss your ass? Like there's this kind of shift that the masculine needs to embrace because they're not getting any kind of external validation, not the kind that they thought they were supposed to get. Actions the masculine's likely to make. We have the Angel of Earth, Pentacles, North body. I feel like this is an inward motion. They don't know how to feel grounded because there's a lot of risks that this masculine still needs to take. And that's in context to overcoming their ego and recognizing that if they can't find any kind of validation from within, they're never going to be able to bring forward their gift. I love this term, expresses soul insights through symbolic language. That could be light language, music, writing, poetry. Like there's so many different ways this could manifest. And especially if your person is maybe a little bit more on the sciencey spectrum, there's so many cool ways of understanding sacred geometry, chemistry, biological, like biology, neurology, like understanding how those things fit together can be very symbolic as well as science-based. There's so much creative thinking that this divine masculine is doing. Like me as an artist, I'm very excited for them. However, they still haven't learned how to anchor into the earth. And until they figure out how to do that, they're just going to float around aimlessly and not be within their alignment. What's the potential final outcome? We do have the magician. I feel like there is going to be a pathway made forward. And they do have to make a choice. Do they continue to trying to appease to somebody that can't give them proper feedback, that can't give them proper validation, or are they going to try something different? So let's go ahead and dive into this Four of Swords with the masculine, and we'll get some confirmation. Like I said, this is a double deck, which is evidenced here that this entire reading has been split in half with a cup with two sets of 10 swords. Like that, this is the end of a cycle. This is an end of a cycle for the masculine and the feminine. And considering that this is all mental, this is something that needs to be, what's the word I'm thinking of? Needs to be fostered from the inside out. And the masculine is so unaccustomed going inward because, again, like I was saying earlier, they require external validation in order to know that they're doing the right thing. And that's when we're out of harmony with ourselves, we should be able to find that validation from within. But when we are disconnected from our femininity, we can't find it. So we seek it in somebody else, but it only goes so far because we're kind of limited to a third-party feminine's ability to be emotionally mature, to not have their own, what's the word I'm thinking about? Their own intentions. There's another word in there that I can't seem to verbalize. Oh, it's driving me nuts because I see the word, but I can't exactly say it. So there are some blockages going on that's making it difficult for the masculine to communicate with the external feminine. And this is technically a good thing because when you're dependent on somebody else to validate you, it only goes so far. And there's something a little bit corrupt about this King of Swords. But what do we have down here? Page of Swords. Page of Swords, King of Cups. Yeah, this is kind of what I was bantering on. Like their external validation, it's just a child trying to seek out validation from another child, or a child trying to seek validation from a parental figure. The King of Cups is a very balanced energy of masculinity and femininity, the ability to offer love, show love, care and compassion, but also recognizing when it's time to withdraw and allow the child to find their own way home. It's sort of as though this kid, kept losing their GPS, kept losing the map, and kept blaming other people. But it's sort of like, it's a little bit of this boomer dad kind of feeling where it's like this King of Cups is like, you know what? I'm not going to tell you how to get home. I've told you how to get home 20 times. Now you need to learn how to do it on your own, because if you don't learn how to do this on your own, you will always be lost. On one hand, this could feel as though this kid is abandoned, but really this child knows everything they need to know, and they have to learn how to do it themselves. The masculine is going through a rite of passage. What do we have right here? Seven of Cups. They do have options, but they don't like the idea of options. It's this feeling like, well, I know I could do it, but what do you want to do? Or I know I want this, but do you want this as well? They have so much potential, but they don't know how to be solo. This masculine is chronically codependent on how other people think and how other people feel. Like, as much as I'm talking about this as being masculine energy, I see this with groups of women, and more so young children. And it's a sort of like, well, I want to go to the bathroom, so 3 or 4 of my friends also should go to the bathroom with me. I don't want to go and do something alone. I always need to walk in a pack. I always need to walk in groups. And that manifests later on in life where, it is a good idea if it's late at night to walk in groups. Like, that, the safety is definitely a thing. However, this is safety where it's sort of like, are you so important that you think you're going to get kidnapped by, just because you went to the washroom by yourself at some like fancy restaurant? Like, okay, sure, if you are that important, you have kidnappers insurance along with a bodyguard. 99% sure you are not this person. Although I feel like some of you wish you were important enough You want to be so famous that you need your own security guard. Like there's something kind of cute and funny within here. But this is asking you to kind of take it down a notch. Like there's nothing wrong with being so famous that maybe one day you need some semblance of professional protection. That's kind of cool. I do find the sense of humor within that. However, if you're constantly worried that sorry guys, I need to technology problem. If you're constantly worried that you can't make a decision on your own, you can get all the bodyguards in the world and you can have people following you around like a posse all you want. But what is the point of that if you don't feel as though you can make a decision on yourself? This masculine needs to learn how to make their own independent decision because they're constantly worried about being heartbroken. We do have a Three of Swords. Like this is a very raw, punctured heart. And on one hand, this masculine hasn't quite tapped into that this is their power, this is their source, being able to truly express their heartache. Like, this masculine has no problem talking about their heartache, but it's sort of as though they're in so much pain, but they only want to talk about happiness. They're heartbroken, but they always want to sing songs about being happy or you found hope. It's sort of as though this masculine is trying to manifest a future of happiness. There's nothing wrong with it, but they are stuck. Like this Knight of Swords is kind of stuck here, bored, no way forward, no inspiration, because they're trying to use somebody else's energy in order to feel happy when they're not happy. In some ways, this masculine isn't honest with themselves that they are feeling heartbroken and they haven't quite yet found the tools to learn how to healthfully express the pain. Because I think right now this masculine is still a little bit stuck with a victim mentality. Let's see, what do we have here with the King of Swords? This is going to be a pretty in-depth read, guys. So I'm very, very hopeful that this is going to benefit you in the long term, whether this is an external person that you are checking up on, or if this is helpful for you. Like, I'm always curious to know where you feel like you are in your paradigm. You can still be a divine feminine, but be going through a masculine journey. You have to go through both in order to find a semblance of harmony. Tell me about this King of Swords. Got the artificial intelligence, algorithm, rhythmic, algorithmic I want to say interference. That's inference, pattern, prediction, blah, 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 blah. Like this is actually, it's so funny. The karmic isn't a person. The karmic is data analytics. There's something about the way that this masculine is looking at the data, but they don't actually know how to interpret the data. Whoa, this is kind of the first time I've ever come across a reading where the karma isn't actually human. So I find it fascinating that I decided to pick this AI generated deck. We got the Final Judgment. The data is only there, but if you have no sense of interpretation as to what it's supposed to mean, you could just, you could just like give it up and move on and not look at the right thing. There's a part of your ego that this karmic energy is trying to help you release, masculine. There's a chance for this masculine to start realizing that they've been looking at the wrong thing. They've been looking just at the thumbs up as opposed to looking at when are people showing up? What time of the day are they showing up? Is this even a genre that people are interested in? Are they actually looking at their audience? Like, this is turning into some kind of business proposal at this point. This is cute. 9 of Cups. And what makes you happy? You can go to all the different coaches of the world. This masculine, I feel as though they could seek out help, but all they're doing is observing. They're not necessarily asking the proper questions, whether if this is asking it from a heart space and, praying to the divine, or even just asking people in the 3D what their sense of success is and knowing how to translate that in a way that would make sense to this masculine. Because at the end of the day, even if they did ask this rebel, hey, so what's the keys to your success? Most successful people will say, I'm just focusing on things that I love and that I love doing. I love doing what it is that I am doing. There's only so much that the analytics can tell you about that. It can be part of the picture, but this masculine still is not tuned into what it is that makes them happy and satisfied because they don't know yet how to process this Three of Swords. Now, this is the interesting part. Like, how do they feel towards the feminine? That could be their inner feminine or someone that they associate as an external feminine. And I don't think this necessarily is this doesn't have to be you per se. This could looking for validation from a mother figure. I feel as though the masculine's beginning to realize they've been looking in all the wrong places, or if they've been looking towards their feminine, they're really upset that they feel abandoned. You know, it's like, I've done the work, I've gone within, I've sought out all the things. Like, aren't you happy yet? How come you keep abandoning me? There's this disconnect and disbelief from this masculine. Oh, there we go. And, oh, okay, got Page of Swords popped back out again. If you recall, that's what showed up in the base energy over here. Like, this masculine feels abandoned by their feminine energy for no other reason than the feminine had to withdraw herself in order to allow the masculine to finally grow the fuck up. King of Cups showed up. Like, this is why I'm so confused as I channel this energy, because I really feel as though as this collective goes through a massive shift, like, I don't like doing the traditional twin flame thing where we constantly focus on a third party person, though the readings do come out that way. I really want to focus on getting you guys into a semblance of unity consciousness to recognize how external people, an external masculine, made you feel like shit, but how is that a reflection of you? Because until you're able to recognize your demons, your heartbreak, your ego from within, there's only so far you're going to be able to go in order to express yourself to the world. What do we have up here? Death. This is an ego death. This is recognizing the shadow from within, because until you have a proper conversation with your ego and even get yourself to the point where you can recognize the difference between your ego and intuition, like, you got to do this on your own. This is an inward journey. There's only so much that a third party person could tell you what it is you need to do. We seek out diviners, tarot readings, friends to get their opinion as to what they think the next step is supposed to be. And in theory, that's not a bad thing. Like, that's what friendship, connection, community, the Holy Spirit is all about, so that we can get some information to help us take the next step. But there comes a point that you need to make the decision and you need to take the risk. There's a point that masculine needs to make a decision and that they need to make a risk. What do we have right here? 1 cup. Got a 9 cup and a 1 cup. There's an ask right here with the masculines. They have to acknowledge how they can find their love again. They're still in pain. And they're not, I don't even want to say they're not willing. It's like they don't have the right information. I feel like they're skipping over something. It's sort of as though if I could just get famous, this will resolve. As opposed to this can resolve, then I become famous. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but I know that I do have a lot of artists and people who want to move forward on a public level that do watch my channel. So that's how this the examples do come up. But even then, as you're learning to engage within your masculine energy, learning how to hear is a little bit different, because a King of Swords can be very legalistic. And when you hear from a legalistic mindset versus an open and intuitive mindset, you hear two different things. You can have two people in the room hear the exact same lecture, the exact same story, the exact same movie, and have two completely different interpretations of it, and both of them are correct. How do you resolve that? Because unless you're able to resolve this from within, there's no way in hell you can have peace and harmony with people around you. And if people hold on to, I'm right and you're wrong, that's where we get war. In a lot of ways, like, if this is your reading, if I'm actually tuned into your energy, there's a special message in here. Why are you seeking out war within yourself when in fact you can seek out peace? You know, I was talking about a phoenix versus a dove. If you're speaking this way, what is it about what it is you're talking about that's fake? Because if you're checking in on an external masculine, you could be tempted to tell them what it is they need to hear, and they don't want to hear that. Like, they're going to tell you to fuck off. I kind of don't blame them. Where is it about you that you can actually take some of this information? We have the Ten of Swords, where we have the message from the universe as it pertains to you. So it doesn't matter if you are, divine feminine or divine masculine or just, twin curious. This is always going to be for you, this particular position. Ten of Swords. What do we have? We got the Gate. Enter the order of the everlasting day. I feel as though you guys are going through an initiation process. This is for you to access your divine keys to success. And your divine key to success has nothing to do with, I'm going to make all the money in the world. It's unlocking your ability to tap into your intuition, to create from soul. What would you do for the rest of your life, regardless of payment, that would make you feel so joyful and even entertained? And then trust that all of the abundance that you need in order to have the best possible existence will flow through you. What do you want to do with your life? You're being asked to start making some thoughtful intentions, because there's a cycle that's ending for you, regardless if this is an external person you're checking on or if you're recognizing the internal angst that is your masculinity. This is coming to an end, and I see it right here. You were technically abandoned because it's sort of like, cultures, you come across them in TV. I love listening to Star Trek, and you always hear about, a child goes through a rite of passage where they have to survive in the wilderness for, a week or 40 days. And, the child learns how to take all of their skills and knowledge in order to survive and thrive. Like, that's a rite of passage. It's not abandonment. Abandonment is, I don't want this child anymore, so I'm going to plunk them in the middle of nowhere, and if they survive, good for them, but I don't care anymore. That's not what this is. Eight of Coins. You've been preparing for this. Your entire life experience is preparing you for the next step. I don't know why this is funny, but I can't stop laughing. Page of Wands. Your creativity is opening up. I'm so fucking excited for you in this energy. You've never been abandoned. Can you believe that? You were never abandoned. It was just that, hey, it's your turn to learn how to drive the car. Hey, have a driver. In order to get your driver's license, you have to go through a test to make sure that you can go about this solo. The universe hasn't abandoned you. It's actually putting you through a test to make sure that you're ready to do this on your own, so that you can handle the heartache, you can handle critique, that you can handle the difference between wealth, money, power, and your personal sense of empowerment. There's some beautiful things like set up for whoever it is that you are. And it's just important. Let your ego die. Focus on loving yourself, no longer depending on an external validation. Because until you are able to own this and govern this, guys, you won't be able to anchor this in. You won't be able to anchor in your divine counterpart either. And it's a time for you to start taking a personal sense of accountability. Yeah, there was someone outside of you. They ripped your heart out. They punctured you. They stabbed you in the back. They made you feel like shit. Now turn that into your artwork. And don't do it out of pain. Speak of your healing. That's why I was saying, like, these are doves. Doves speak of peace, but you've been through a metamorphosis. You've been transmuted. You have gone through fire, and you are no longer the person who it is that you used to be. You are the fucking phoenix, so why are you singing about doves? This rebel sings about doves because their journey required it. Like, you've been doing the right thing trying to copy other people's art. That's how you start off as an artist. Now it's time for you to start making something that is your own. And that's scary because you have no template to work with. This is what this is what science calls originality. Wow, sarcasm much. We got the Ace of Swords. Wow. Like you've had a lot of things. Notice how this sword, it kind of disappears, and it's almost like this glass transparent clarity, but it's there. Like, if you just calm your energy enough, you get the clarity. You may, your masculine has probably been pinging around all over the place, just like, is this going to work? 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 And you hadn't really taken the opportunity to sit back and consider, hey, maybe I should look at the handle and not at the pointy part of this particular clarity. Like the rest of this message really is about you. Like if you've been checking in on a third party person, I feel as though you're a little bit bored but curious about it. No judgment. But I really love that you seem to recognize the change that you need to start governing so that you can become an author of your own story. Eight of Blades. Like this is the classic. You are holding yourself back. You have so many options available to you. Like there's some beautiful craftsmanship going on here. And there's some shit that I feel as though no one else in the world has ever seen before, but it requires you to do something so radically different, and you're not going to get it on the first try. I see this a lot between this Eight of Coins and the Eight of Blades. Consider that every single time you practice something and you try something, regardless if it's welcomed or not, how do you feel about it? Can you write about it? Can you ruminate on it? Is it what, even if you wanted to paint over something and start again, what's the story of resetting? Like, this isn't just one done, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. This is your journey, and you're being asked to be very original on how it is that you're documenting what's going on. Your past has been informing you this entire time. We do have the Six of Cups. Like, you have been working with a counterpart with other people in your life from childhood, whether this is from childhood or this is an issue that stemmed from childhood, your entire life experience has equipped you. Like I was saying, they talk about, in science fiction, and maybe there's some earthly cultures that do this as well still. The child prepares to go out into the wilderness and they must survive. And I know I keep talking about this weird esoteric thing. Guys, my sister went to survival school when she was part of the Royal Canadian Air Cadets. She got trained. She was got 4 weeks of training, how to make a lean-to. She had to learn how to prepare meat. She was not super pleased about that, but hey, survival is survival. What kind of, berries is safe to consume? Where can you go and forage to ensure your survival? How do you make sure that you don't get sick because you kept your latrine, your toilet too close to your campsite? Like, you've been preparing for this, and you were never abandoned in the first place. And there's an ask for you to start recognizing how the people in your life have been there for you. What is the likely final outcome? Like, it's sort of like if you hear this and you realize, wait, yeah, my life is a journey. Oh my God. Like, I'm already feeling a lot of the inspiration flowing through you. That's this amazing magician being able to take past situations, transmute, alchemize it, turn it into something that is way more powerful than it used to be. You're becoming an artist. You're becoming a magician. You are becoming a leader in your own right because you need to be original. Even if you were to say go through the traditional educational pursuits, if you were to try and get a PhD, you still need to do a dissertation. You have to come up with a paper that is so original but is founded in all of your research, founded in a scientific pursuit. But it's your original idea, and that gives you the authority to teach it. Like, you're becoming someone who's original, but it requires you to test your own faith, have a sense of humor, remove things that don't belong or don't make sense, and be thoughtful about who's giving you criticism within your life. Is it warranted? Then sure, take it, leave it, or you can fight against it. It's up to you. You're supposed to have fun on this timeline. There's a lot of people that you're going to be working with within the Three of Pentacles, and I feel as though you've been clearing out a lot of the clutter in order to bring in the brand new. What do we have at the top? Seven of Wands. Like, you are going to be defending yourself, and that's not a bad thing. Like, regardless of, say, you're going back to university in order to get your PhD, you have to defend your thesis. You have to defend the dissertation. When you go out into the world publicly and you get negative comments, you have to be prepared to thoughtfully defend it. Do you want to be defensive? Do you want to take in what the hidden messages and the hidden meanings are supposed to be? Or are you just going to get angry and frustrated that no one seems to get what it is that you're doing? This is about your mindset. This is about you being able to transmute your abilities and recognize when you're getting feedback, how is it a reflection of you, and no longer taking it nearly as fucking personally. I love this. The Angel of Fire, Wands, South, and Spirit. This is your creative potential. This is that Phoenix rising up. This is your ultimate idea. If anything, you might have walked in here hoping to hear more about what's going on with your counterpart, but walking out of this reading saying, fuck that counterpart. They are my inspiration. All of the hell that this person put me through has given me the ability to speak my mind, and knowing that even if people try to get me down, I know I can learn from it. I know my ego can die. I know that I can have a lot of fun along the way. Wow. Let's get one final message. We'll wrap up today's reading because I want to know, what are you working on? What are you trying to create? Because if you're getting to the point where you're able to start detaching from external people getting you down and thinking that they are the only source of validation, and you're entering into this new phase, I want to hear about it, because you deserve to have the right mindset, a healthier approach to your victory, so that you can become the rebel, because you're going to eventually come to the point where people will begin to admire you, and they're going to come up to you and say, so how did you get to the point where you were able to have your own tree house and live the life that you want and be able to magnetize all the money in the world in order to have a successful, happy life? And you'll be able to look back on it and remind them that, hey, I had to learn to love myself. I had to decide I have to work on something that I enjoy, something that's within my alignment, learning how to transmute this old heartache. Oh, wow. We have the chosen one. Fast track to ascension. You have oh God, you've closed out a cycle. Whoever it is that you are, even if you are just one person who made it to the end of this particular message, you have overcome some nasty karma and a nasty assumption of karma that has held you back for eons. Whatever the situation is, this is exactly the right kind of inspiration that you've needed in order to move forward. Just embody the lesson, embody who it is that you are, honor the journey, and know that you have chosen to walk this path because you are bringing seeds of healing. You have planted the seeds. You're about to recapture your abundance. Your ability to communicate will soon be heightened. Just be open and honest and speak from your heart and allow the ascension process to happen naturally. I'm just saying, wow. Well, whoever it is that you guys are, damn, I sincerely hope that this helped. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you like my style, please make sure to like the video on the way out. And if you're kind of curious about the next message, I highly recommend that you subscribe. And until I see you at the next one, I'm wishing you peace, love, and all the berries.